some of my homemade lures today. Like this one right here. It's a diving lure. Set up with a single hook in the back and a treble in the front. And a baby bass coloration. The other ones I'm going to be using are kind of a frog lure setup. A single hook in the back. That one's in a bullfrog color. And that one in a black widow black. And another topwater design that I'm just kind of messing with. Kind of a semi-flat bottom, rounded top, makes it a little unstable. We'll see what that one does. Another little one. I'm just going to rip him in and see where I got him. Yeah, he came up on the treble. That's what I was curious about. It's whether they'd come up on that treble hook or whether they'd come up elsewhere. Little tiny guy. There's another one. Yeah, they're definitely grabbing the treble. More so than the... Number 2 on the diving bait, which you can't see because it's covered by weeds. Yeah, they're definitely grabbing that treble. So I guess it was a good call that I made one with it. Man, those hooks are sharp. Touched myself with it and I jammed it right underneath my skin. Little fish. Kind of standard out of this pond. First one though. Got him pretty solid. First one on my homemade frog. Little fish. Little fish. Let's see if we can get some more. Unfortunately, this is one of my earlier prototypes, one of them that I'm not willing to sell. It doesn't want to sit right side up. It wants to land upside down every time. It still catches fish though. And what I like about it is it's still got that single hook setup. And then when I started catching fish with it, like that, oh, this is a nicer fish. Well, maybe not. It's actually littler. He just dove with it. Little fish, but he just dove with it. But like I was gonna say before this little guy interrupted what I was gonna say, is I still like how single hook designs work. Because regardless whether the hook's out of the water or not, you're still catching less weeds. And you're still catching just as many fish. Even if the hook is upside down, no matter which direction it's facing, it seems to catch fish. There's two on the frog. I think regardless, I'm going to switch over to my diving bait. And what I want to do with the diving bait is I want to make another single hook diving bait, but I'm basically testing it with the treble to see where I'm hooking fish. I know it needs more weight on the front of the lure and the bottom of the lure to keep it diving. However, when I built the lure, I thought I had enough weight in the front of it, but I did not. And for anybody who's interested, I am making some of these lures to sell. I'm planning on making custom lures if anybody wants anything different than what I'm making here. But these lures like this, I am making and selling currently. I'll link my eBay page that I've got set up at the moment. I eventually plan to switch on over to my own web page, but for right now I'm using eBay. And I would also appreciate any comments or that have to do with any type of lure that you'd like to see, any kind of specialty lure or anything that you look for and just can't find. Whether it be for bass or muskies or pike or pickerel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You see it? The bass right there. It was pretty much tangled up in my line. I could feel it pulling, but it wasn't actually on the lure, it was on the line, which was odd. It's a nice sized one too, would have been the best one I caught today. If he followed us in once, he might follow us in again though. I'm also planning on at some point making a few how-to videos on how to make your own lures now that I've gotten started with it. I've learned some things and fixed some issues that I was having with some of my first ones. And really it's pretty easy, you don't need a lot of tools to do it. Thought I had a bite, but I probably just caught some weeds on the bottom. And these lures are all made out of wood. They're made out of treated southern pine, and I hand paint them. After I make the lure and get it all ready, I clear coat it, and then I paint it, and then I clear coat it again. And this wood is extremely tough in this configuration too. I've tried doing some little torture tests and stuff on a few unpainted but clear coated lures just to see how they would hold up to some pretty major thrashing, and they hold up very well.